Hey, Shalom, Barak Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Chahadash, double honors at apostles, bishops, elders of great millstone, and Shalom to you brothers in the highways and byways, doing the work sincerely and faithfully, continually fighting that good fight of faith, Lord willing. We have found that number to be delivered. All right. So I was watching the movie The Road, and haven't seen it in years. And as a rewatch, you know, things appear much more clearer than they did, over 10 years ago. And when you watch that movie, basically, it's about cannibalism, right? Damn near every scene and everything that they're doing is preventing themselves from being caught by those who are in that situation, because mostly the people that are there are eating one another. So the Spirit jumped on me to try to, bring a lesson out, because not too often, we don't speak about it too often, right? And famine is what is projected to be on the horizon. And what does famine bring? Bad times. And when you have bad times with no food, people are then going to resort to eating one another. It happened throughout all Israel, all throughout the years. And the majority of these things took place when Israel was being besieged. So I say all that to say this: the time of Jacob's coming, the time of Jacob's trouble is coming. All right? And that's going to be like another besiegement. And resorting to eating your children and whoever is a mirror reflection of the days of old. All right? So with that, let's get some scriptures. All right, here we go. This is Deuteronomy 28, and I'm going to jump to 53, then jump to 57. It says, "And thou shalt eat the fruit of thy own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy power has given thee, in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thy enemy shall distress thee." All right? And that's, again, the point being made is there's going to be, there was hard times back at this time. All right? And is not the enemy going to distress us again? Coupled with the MOTB being implemented. All right? So that's a double whammy right there. Because now the enemy is going to come in like a flood. But not only is he going to come in like a flood, now there's going to be restrictions whether or not you buy or sell or eat. Okay? So these are all things you got to take into consideration, man. And pray that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is with you. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you can talk a good talk right now because nothing's fucking happening. But the moment it shuts down, when it shuts down, now you people are going to be looking for the Lord. You're going to be looking for the men of the Lord. You're going to be trying to figure out how to get some food, how to stay safe, when you should have been taking heed all along. But that's what Jake does, man. Jake waits to the last goddamn minute to try to get right. This is 57, verse 57. It says, and toward, let me see, 56. And it says, the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Her eyes shall be evil toward her husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear. For she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thy enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. Okay? All right? Now, if you believe the prophets of the Lord, then you must believe that these things that we teach and speak are true, and they're going to come to pass, because the revelations and the visions and the understanding has been given unto us through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And on verse 26, it mentioned that tender and delicate woman. And this is how a lot of you women portray yourself, as tender and delicate. Right? Especially you single moms, you single mothers out there. You play the part, boy. You definitely try to play that part. Looking all fancy. Was it Aldo bags and Louis Vuittons, and and you think your kid is a burden to you. But just when you thought you was on top here in Babylon, your beauty and all these things that you work so hard to do and try to make yourself known or establish in this world, in this kingdom, is going to be for naught. And you going to end up eating them children. Thus saith the Lord. All right? So let's continue on. Let's go to Leviticus 26 and 29. Matter of fact, let me open that up. Oh shit, where we go? What we got going on here? Leviticus 29. Let me see, is that 28 and 29? Yeah, I started let me see, it's been a while since I've seen this. I'll just jump right to 29. And it says, And ye shall eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters shall ye eat. And I will destroy your high places, and cut down your images, and cast your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols, and my soul shall abhor you. All right? So bottom line is continually making mention of the children of Israel eating their children, eating the fruit of their womb. Right? So when you watch these videos and you listen to what the lessons all about, what the brothers are saying, take heed to it. Lest you get caught out there, and lest the Lord turn you over to these very same plagues that we have been speaking about for years. Okay? So, matter of fact, let me jump up a little bit. Let me jump to 25. It says, And I will bring a sword upon you, that shall avenge and quarrel of my covenant. And when ye are gathered together within the city, I will send pestilence among you, and ye shall be delivered into the hand of your enemy. And when I have broken the staff of your bread, 10 women shall bake your bread in an oven, and shall deliver you your bread again by weight, and ye shall eat it, and not be satisfied. And if you will not for all this hearken unto me, but walk contrary unto me, then will I walk contrary unto you also in fury. And I, even I, will chastise you 7 times for your sins. And the point, and ye shall eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters ye shall eat. All right? So I wanted to start up a little bit to give little contents. context, because again, the Lord has set up his servants on the highways and byways. And this is how now the Lord is reaching out and speaking to you through his men. Now, whether you hear or whether you forbear, that's on you. But know that you have been told, you have been warned about the wrath and the fierce anger of the Lord, who has the power to deliver you unto your enemy, who has the power to deliver you unto these plagues that are set before us. All right, let's continue on. This is Jeremiah 19:9, and it says, "And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and they shall eat every one the flesh of his friend, in the siege, in the straitness wherewith their enemies and they that seek their lives shall straiten them." You see? And the point again, I want to just make mention of, a lot of these things took place during the time of some type of trouble, some type of siege. All right. So again, what's happening, on the horizon in this time period that we're living is the time of Jacob's trouble. And with that trouble is going to come famine. And with that famine is going to come, I'll use, for lack of a better word, cannibalism. All right? And we're reading it. We're reading the things of old that are going to happen again in this time period. Nobody's even thinking about this, man. Nobody's even taking it into consideration because it sounds so far-fetched. It's so far-fetched that one would say, yeah, we might end up eating our kids. This is 2025. Not a chance in the world will these individuals, you jakes out there, think about eating your children. But the prophecy is going to be fulfilled. All right? These things will happen. If we're going to be entering into a time of trouble, right? During that trouble, these plagues are going to come forth. So know that these things that we're teaching, we're speaking about, are going to happen. Let's move on. There's Ezekiel 5:10. It says, "Therefore the father shall eat the sons in the midst of thee, and the sons shall eat their fathers, and I will execute judgment in thee, and the whole remnant of thee will I scatter into all the winds." Now Israel in times past went through all types of hell and different captivities. All right? And within these captivities, the amount of distress that was put on Israel forced them to do things that they normally wouldn't do, things that were contrary to our law, right? And again, turning their back and disobeying the word of the Lord was their biggest downfall. So the Lord turned them over to be destroyed. All right? So all throughout the scriptures, man, there was always a time period where there was some type of besiege, or some type of siege, I should say, or some type of trouble that would cause Israel to go deeper and deeper into just the abyss, And the time of Jacob's trouble is not going to be any different. The trouble-wise. But if you think for one moment that these things ain't going to happen and you're not going to be affected by the famine, You're not going to be affected by the tribulation that is going to come, that's going to arise. And this is where the Lord is definitely going to, show his might and his fierce anger. Because a lot of you jakes are walking in great pride, as if none of these things can happen unto you. But all these scriptures that we have been reading right now are faithful and true. As it is written, there's no new thing under the sun. Right? Let's go here. 2 Kings 6, and I'm going to start at 26. And this is one of my favorite stories here. And it says, "And as the king of Israel was passing upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, Help me, my lord, O king. And he said, If the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai do not help thee, when shall I help thee? Out of the barn floor, or out of the winepress? And the king said unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, This woman said unto me, Give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son, and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, Give thy son, that we may eat him. And she had hid her son. And it came to pass, when the king heard the words of the woman, that he rent his clothes, and he passed by upon the wall. And the people looked, and beheld, he had sackcloth within upon his flesh." All right. So again, here you have two women who are in straits, hungry, have made a pact with one another that they were going to eat their children. They eat one child the one day, then the next day they were supposed to eat the other child, but the woman hid her child. So again, these things are going to take place. Never in a million years did these women at that time think that they would ever be in that position of eating their children. Likewise, you women in this time, never in a million years you'd ever think that you'd have to resort to eating your child or your children. The Lord's gonna make, he gonna do some damage out here, man. He gonna do some damage. And it is better to be, it's better for the Lord to be on your side than for the Lord to be against you. But a lot of you people don't believe, so therefore you don't take heed, and you're going to end up, being an enemy of the Lord. All right? So with that being said, I want to end it right there. I just want to hit them few scriptures. And matter of fact, I'll go to Lamentations 4:9. Again, it says, "They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger." Because being slain with the sword, you go back to the spirit world. But being slain with hunger, now you're doing things that an irrational mind does, such as eating your own children. To be in a position of starvation, and knowing that your mind and your thought process begins to justify itself when you start to say, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to eat them, it'll be all right. So again, as it is written, it is better for those that are slain by the sword than to be slain with hunger. It says, "For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field." You're going to run around sitting there hoping and praying, looking for some food. And to the point where you find no food, what's the next thing? You may see a dead body sitting there. That dead body is going to be a meal to you. You see? In that movie, The Road, like I started off talking about at the top of the lesson, that movie, The Road, shows you just that. It shows you different, scenes where it would bounce back when everything was straight. There was no issues. Everybody was, living life, And then it would jump back to present day where now they're running for their life because the people are trying to eat them. That one dude said, "Won't you come on, get in the truck? Got some food in for you." Okay. With all that being said, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying and eye-opening because the time is coming. The time is short, man. And these plagues that the Lord said He's going to send upon this place are real. And famine is one of them. And what does famine bring? Famine brings the irrational mindset to eat your own children. So with that, I'm going to say shalom.